Doing well. Today we are streaming part 3 of our snake tutorial, our snake little game jam, creating it here. So we're going to just hopefully get set up here and go ahead and go. If you remember, we have this running as our last. Let me see here. There we go. This is kind of where we are so far on our game. We have our player 1 working, and we have player 2 that we need to create. The player 1 has collisions at work, and everything works good there. And then we're going to go on and make the rest of it. So that's where we are right now. Just kind of streaming everything like this. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and continue working on this. I'm hoping that in this third part of our series that we will be able to actually make a lot of progress and perhaps even finish the game tonight, at least get to a good stopping point, because there's other projects that I want to move on to. So let's go ahead and get into this and start coding. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the source code here, and we are going to get busy. Let's see. The first thing we need to do is we need to see about our collision function, because our collision function over here, our isTouchingPlayer, is not really, working the greatest for player 2 right now because of how we have the function checking collision. It's really only checking this. Let me see if I can pause this. Yeah, there we go. It's really only checking the top left corner of the Pong. It's checking all of the player collision, but only the top left corner of the Pong ball. So if we move our player over here to simulate player 2, let me move his start position on the X. Excuse me. Yes, on the X. It was 10. We're going to make it 380 for now to simulate where player 2 would be. So let's simulate that, run that, and put him over there. And as you'll see, if I come all the way down here, I don't know if you saw that. Let me run it again. But it's like it has to bounce all the way until the left cube would hit the player. See, it didn't. It kind of bounced off of this side of the Pong instead of detecting the collision right there. So we're going to work on updating the collision function to work well with that. So let me come down here, and we will start working on this. Let me see here. Just getting my notes up. So we're going to go ahead and change our collision function to work a little better. We're going to, instead of just having the Pong 1 and the Pong 2 of the collision and just checking that, we're going to make it a little bit more streamlined to be able to check the collision of anything. So I'm going to call this, make it take 2 parameters. I'm going to call 1 and call 2 for collision 1 and collision 2. And we're going to go ahead and I'm going to define with a multi-line comment in Lua like that. We're going to define what that actually will look like, and those will do. So I'm just going to say that the definition of collision 1 is that it looks like this. It's going to be an object that will have, let me see here. I'm just defining in the comments, but we're going to say in xmin, which is a number, and a xmax position, which is also a number. Then we'll do the same thing for the y, and we'll have both of these be ymin and ymax as well. So basically, collision 1 and collision 2 are both going to look like this. They're going to be an xmin and a xmax and a ymin and a ymax, and they're all going to be numbers. And that's basically just going to define the 4 corners of whatever box collision we're looking into. So like if it's our player, it'd be, xmin, xmax, then it would be, let me see here, then it would be ymin, ymax, and then that would let us be able to do everything that we need to. And what'll happen is it'll let us check the different corners. So x min would be here, and here would be the max, and that'll let us check basically the two ranges of the whole side of the cube, and we'll make sure that, if they ever overlap, it triggers the collision. Right now it's only really checking the full range of the player object, but not the full range of the Pong object. So we're going to go ahead and work on that. Let's go ahead and say that's also called 2 for now. That's just a comment. This doesn't do anything in the code. This is just so we know what we want the actual objects to be when we pass them in. That's all that is there. So we're going to go ahead and start coding those. Let me see here. I'm going to go ahead and fix this real quick. Let's go ahead and excuse me. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And then we're going to go ahead and instead of I'm going to say is touching, I'm going to say we're going to change the name of this to check. Check. Let's just go ahead and say collision, the whole word. We'll just say check collision. And then call 1, call 2. So, yep, check collision. So, we'll go ahead and just do this. We will say, okay, we're going to know that we have 2 variables we have to check for hitting. We're going to check the X hit and the Y hit. And we're going to go ahead and check for both of those. And if they both return true, then we will say that we can return true, only if both the X position and the Y position have a hit in that collision. So we'll say X hit, Y hit. So now let's define what these actually are. We will say that the X hit, we'll start by checking the collision 2 dot min x. So if the collision 2 dot min x is greater than or equal to the collision 1 dot x min, then we'll know that we are in our first part of it. And then we're going to check, so if it's greater than the low bound, and if it's less than or equal to the high bound. So we will say now if collision 2 dot min is less than or equal to our collision 1 dot x max. Oops, not x miss, x max. There we go. I guess it's technically the same. Let's just keep going. X miss, X max. Anyway, so X max. Then if it's this, or we're going to say if our collision 2, let me see here. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to say if our collision 2, and now instead of min, we're going to say max. So if our max, oh, come on now. If our max so there we go. So if our collision 2 max is greater than the x min of the collision 1, then we're going to say that we are good. But also if our collision 2 max is greater than the collision 1 max x, yes, so that should do it. Let me pull up a thing and try to give it a little bit of an example here. So if we pause this and then we look, so if our collision here is checking just the x at first, so we're checking our x hit here, and we're saying that if I'm going to try my best to make this to where my frame is not on this, and you can hopefully see all of the logic there. So hopefully that looks okay. Let me see here. So anyway, what I'm saying is here is our little cube now, and if we take our x position of our collision 2. So say our collision 2 is the Pong, and say our collision 1 is the player. So our collision 2, we're first checking his min x position, which is on this side. And we're going to say if that min position here is basically in between our x min and max on here, we have a collision. Or, where's our or? Here's our or. Or we're saying if the collision of this one's max, which is this right-hand corner here, is in between our right and left-hand corners here, we'll know that we have an x hit. If either of those are true, we know that we have an x hit. We're basically just checking the corners, and that will let us get the range because it's just a square and it's a straight line. So that's what we're doing there. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do the same thing with the y hit. So let me just go ahead and copy all of this over for the y. And we'll just modify it real quick. So let me go ahead and say we're going to be doing y, basically. I think we are going to do just the same thing. Let me select all of these instances and just say y. So let me just look, but I think that should be good. So we're saying, yeah, if y2 min, if the collision 2 y min, yeah, is greater than the collision 1 y minimum, and the collision 2 y minimum is less than the y maximum, we have a hit. Or we have a y hit if the collision 2 y maximum is greater than the y1 minimum, and it is less than the y1 maximum. So basically, it's the same exact thing as before. We're checking over here if this guy's y value, if we have the minimum of his collision 2 and the maximum of the collision 2 there, and the minimum here, maximum here. We're saying if the minimum is between the maximums, or if the maximum is between the minimum and maximums here, then we know we have the range. I hope that makes sense, but that's what it looks like. That's what we're doing. So yeah. Anyway, let's keep moving on here now, and we will go ahead and get back to our function. So let me go ahead and just finish up whatever we have left, and it's going to basically be, we need to take this, we need to take this check collision here. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go take it to where we had the name of our old function, which is this is touching player. Here it is. I'm going to go ahead and plug in our new collision check. Excuse me, I can't talk. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to make a variable to save this in called is touching player now, and it'll be the collision check between our two objects that we're going to pass into this. It'll be two different tables, and I'm just going to create them in an expression right here. So our first one is supposed to be our player, and our second one is supposed to be our Pong. So I'm going to go ahead and do, what is it? Yeah, it's just the player variable up here has our pretty much everything we need right there. So we're going to say that the player has, let me see here now. Where did it go? Sorry, it's right up here. Collision, here it is. We're going to say inside of the players one, we're going to say, it's going to be x min equals player dot x. Then we'll say that the x max equals player dot x plus player dot width. Since we do have that up here, we are keeping the player's width and height. We're going to use that in these calculations. So let me come back down here, and I'm going to make this a little bit neater. Let me go ahead and hit enter here, and then I'll put that back like that. And we will go ahead and see if we can make this a little cleaner. Let me go ahead and do this. Yeah, that looks a little better. So there's x min and x max. We'll go ahead and say the y min and y max is, we'll say y min, y max equals player dot y and player dot y plus player dot height. So there's that. And then our next one is going to be based on our Pong values. So I'm going to just copy all of these and put in our Pong values. Basically, I think we have for the Pong, wherever we initialize it. Yeah, here it is. We initialize it here. We have our x and y and our width and our height there for the Pong as well. So we will be able to plug in those same things here. Basically, I'm just going to replace everywhere where it says player dot with Pong dot, and then that should be able to do our trick there. So then we can just do player is touching the variable instead of the function, because we changed the function to be the collision, and that should do it for us. So let's go ahead and save that, and let's try to run it, and we will see what happens. So here we are, restarted. I'm going to go down here and see if it bounces. Yep, bounced off of it, so that looks like a good sign. Let's give it another go, shall we? Let's just see if it works. I'm going to move this over here. Okay, so here it's coming back towards our player. Yes, and it's working very nicely now. It's bouncing off just the side of the player instead of going all the way through the player till the end, which is exactly what we want. And just to verify, if we move our player back to his original position and rerun the code, let's see what that does. Make sure that it bounces the other way just fine too. Yep, that looks very good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and stop that. And then one thing that we noticed is I'm going to also move the player's initialization to be down here in the init function. So I'm going to say reset Pong. Now I'm going to say reset player. And we'll just copy all this stuff down here for that. And then now that we have all of those physics checks working, pretty much our next goal that we're going to have is just to go ahead and create the AI for the other side. So let me go ahead and make a new object for the AI. That's what I'm going to call it. And we'll go ahead and come down here, and I'm going to initialize it in a very similar way that we initialized the player. And we will say, oops, I forgot to do this for the player. To reset it from scratch, we're going to do the same thing for the AI here. So it's going to be AI, and then I'm going to just pretty much copy all of this stuff and paste those in here. And then we'll just paste that, AI.xy, speed, and width and height will be the same. The X, we want that to be 380, so he starts on the other side. The Y, 0 is fine. Speed, let's see. I don't want it to have a speed. Instead, we'll say that maybe it's his difficulty, and that will be like his speed. So I'm going to just change this to difficulty, and then we will go from there. So that's what we'll have for the AI. Let me go ahead and come up here. So we draw the AI just like that. So here's the Pong ball, here's the player. Let's come down and let's say that we also have the AI. So we'll go ahead and first of all just do a very similar fill rect for the AI. Ooh, I have done something. Let me go here. Yes, so this will be AI. Oh, and this is something I noticed. Apparently we didn't use the width and height, so I'm going to go ahead and use that here for the AI. Let's copy those for the player. And then also we'll copy those for the Pong, because I want to use all the variables we've set so that it works. So there we go. Let's see if that drawing works for the AI. Let's go ahead and run that. Yep, looks good. It doesn't move or anything yet, but it does look good. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and start the AI in the middle, and let's see if we can get a collision working. So instead of y here, I'm going to say y at 200 divided by 2, so it starts in the middle of the screen. Oh, excuse me, 240 divided by 2. Let's do that. 240 divided by 2, and then we will go ahead and fix his collision to actually be checked just like the players on the Pong ball. So what we're going to do is we have our variable for is touching player. Let's just go ahead and copy this for is touching AI. Local. Let's use some new lines in here. Is touching AI. Is touching AI. We'll keep it lowercase AI. And instead of player here, we're going to just change this one to AI. There we go. So we'll say or is touching player, or is touch. Oops, excuse me, I've done something. Or is touching AI. There we go. So if it is touching player or is touching AI at the end of there, then we'll say it did hit. And if we come down here to did hit, let's say if is touching player or is touching AI, then we'll flip the Pong's X direction. Let's save that and run it. And see if it bounces off of the AI. Yes, it did. That's cool. Okay, so now let's see if it bounces off of our player again, just to make sure everything's good. Yep, that looks good. Cool. You'll notice our AI is not moving yet. We're going to have to program a very rudimentary AI. Oh, is he going to get a second bounce? Nope. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come back up here. And let me go to the AI update. What I'm going to say is I'm going to say if the AI dot y position, because luckily for us we only need to move the y position, not the x position of the AI. If it is less than the Pong dot y position, then we will do what? We're going to say if it's less than it, then AI dot y position plus equals our AI dot speed or difficulty in this case. So let's go ahead and say difficulty, but we're going to say else we're going to say the AI dot y minus equals the difficulty. And let's end to that. So that should update our AI's position in a very simplistic way to go to wherever the Pong ball is. So let's see. Okay, it bounced it. Oh, it is very, very kind of sketchy and not moving smoothly, but we'll see what happens in a minute. We'll make it a bit smoother. Let's make the difficulty less and see if the AI will be better. Let's just do 1 and save that and see how that looks. Okay, let's see this now. That is a lot smoother on the AI, so that's good. Let me go ahead and hit this back to him. And you can see it updates correctly going up or down. The problem is we don't want the AI to be too good. Yeah, bang, it would have just lost a point if we had the point system set up. So that's good. The AI is not perfect right now. It's just enough to get you there. Let's see if it'll bounce it this time, if it'll get there in time. It's almost like it's too slow right now. It'll never hit it. Let's see if we can make it a tiny bit faster. Like, let's see if 1.1 makes it fast enough, or if we need to go even faster than that. Let's see. Our goal is, to make the AI not too hard, but just hard enough to where it'll get it, most of the time, but not all of the time. So let's see if we can do that. Okay, so missed it that time. Let's see if it can get it in another go round. I'm trying to keep the AI as simplistic as possible. I hope we don't have to write a lot of logic for it. Let's see if it bounces it off of itself this time. Missed it again. I wonder if it's always just going to be barely too slow or barely too fast. That might be an issue. Let's just see here. Let's see if it hits it this time. Or if it's still too slow. Oop, it was too slow then. Let's see. I'll bounce it for it. It might hit it this time. Oh, it did hit it that time. Awesome. So it missed it once, hit it once. Let's see what it does the third time. This might be a good speed for the AI. If it hits it this time, I think that it'll probably be a good speed. Looks like it didn't hit it that time. Maybe it's slightly too slow. But let's see. Maybe if I hit it one more time. If it gets it 2 times out of 4, which I think it will be if it gets it this time, then maybe we'll leave it. Oh my. Huh. Not sure if that should count or not. That was a little odd. Let's try it one more time and see what happens. So I'll hit it back to it. Okay, I got it that time. Let me see if I can get it. Let's see. There we go. Let's see if it can get it. Nope. It lost it. I still think it's a little bit too slow to get it there. Let's try 1.3 maybe and see what that does. And maybe, maybe we should try something wild and do like 1.5. See how that is. That might make it there every time, but let's see. That might be too fast, 1.5. We'll see. That might make the AI too good. Let's see here. Okay, I got it barely that time. Let's see if it gets it again. Yeah, let's go ahead and turn it down. So that was at 1.3. Wait, I thought... Did I make it 1.5? I'm so confused. Let me try that again. Was this at 1.3 that it was that good? I thought we had changed it to 1.5. Maybe I'm just getting tired or something. That's crazy. Let's see here. Okay, got it that time. Let's see. Got it that time, so that's good. Oh, it missed it that time. So that was out of... So that was 2 times out of 3, 1 miss. Let's see what it does this time if I hit it. Let's see if it gets on the 4th one a hit or a miss. It's a hit on the 4th one. Let's see if it misses the 5th one. Okay, missed the 5th one. Oh my. That's a weird glitch. But that should hopefully stop as soon as it that should be illegal or something, carrying. Okay. There's obviously something with the collision going on weird there, but let's go ahead and see. I feel like we could make it just a little bit slower. Maybe we should do like 1.25 and see how that goes. Let's save that and run that. Maybe that's the best speed for it right there. So there's a miss on that one. Let's see what happens if I hit it again to it. So hopefully it'll get a hit. I feel like if we could get it 50% of the 50% of the shots, if it hits and misses, that'd be pretty good. So that was one hit, one miss just there. So it just hit. Let's see what it does this time. Another miss, so that's good. Let's go ahead and try again and see what it does. But I like this setting so far. Okay, there's a hit. Yep, I think it's working well. Let's go ahead and get to the next section. I'm going to just go ahead and say that this is good for now. Let's go up here and start doing, I guess, the wall collation on the Pong. I guess we need to say if it hits the walls, which will be these X walls right here, that we need to give the player or the AI a score up. So let's go ahead and add a score variable to both the player and the AI. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to say we'll have a score for the player, and it'll start at 0. And then we'll have a score for the AI too, and it will also start at 0. And we'll need to draw these and display this score. So let's go ahead and go up here to our update loop, and I'll say, well, maybe I'll just say score. And let's go ahead and get this going. I think we should be able to do this. Let me see here. I'm going to go ahead and say graphics, our graphics library, which is imported from here, corelibs.graphics. Ooh, excuse me, a little bit of scroll lag there. Let's go ahead and see now. So I already got our graphics library. I'm going to say graphics dot draw text, and then let's just say 0 0. Oops. Maybe we'll do this one for now, and then let's try to give it an X. Let's say 0 0. X and Y is 0. Let's just see where that draws, and let's refresh it and look. Let's see. Oh, okay. So it drew it up there. It's a little bit big in my opinion, or not big. Excuse me. It's a little bit not spaced out enough. So let's go ahead and set that. Let me see here. I'm going to go ahead and say, let's see, our screen and our width. Let's just do our width divided by 2. Excuse me. So we'll do this divided by 2, and maybe just say 10 pixels down. Let's see what that looks like. Looks good. It is a little off-centered though, probably because the size of the text is a little bit there. So let's just try saying 190 instead of 200 and see what that looks like. That looks more centered to me. So that looks pretty decent. Maybe we should make it a little bigger though. Let's go ahead and maybe set the font family. Let's see what that does. Excuse me, let me see if I can do the size. I'm looking at some notes on the other side here real quick. Looks like we can also do this. Let me see here. Looks like instead of doing that, we can also do this. Just looking at some notes here. Let's do draw text aligned, which should align it on the x-axis. And let's just say, I wonder if I can just say 0 then and see what happens. And then the alignment, we have to have another variable for the alignment, which I'm going to say equals, let me see here. Just getting my notes up, sorry about that. So the alignment, I believe we can say it has a variable name, but let's just see. I'm going to copy this over. It looks like we can do ktext alignment dot center to do center. Let me see what that does. I do not see it. Oh, it's still over there. Maybe I did it wrong. Huh. So, wait, let me see here. Maybe that's not doing what I think it does. I think that's just maybe centering it on wherever your X position is. So if we redo that, yeah, that looks centered on the 200. So that might be how we want it there. Okay, that doesn't look half bad in my opinion. Maybe we should go only 5 on this. Let's save that and see what that looks like. Yep, that looks pretty good. I wonder if we can make the size bigger now. Let me see. I'm just checking some notes here. Let's go ahead and get I guess maybe I'm mistaken, but I don't see a way to set the font size unless I am not seeing something. Let me see here. Looking at some notes here. So that looks like it's doing good over there. So yeah, let's go ahead and see about that. Anyway, basically I think we'll just keep the same size and then we'll get back to drawing that font in 1 minute. And I will be right back. Give me half a second. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. Let's see here. After that short break, we are now back. So we just said we drew the text and we aligned it center on the X, and we're going to go ahead and import our scores. So I'm going to do this. Instead of putting 0 there, I'm going to concatenate a string with our player dot score and our AI dot score. So let's go ahead and save that and try loading it. Let's see if it works. Did that reload? I guess it did. Let me go ahead and set the player score at 1 so we can, or maybe I'll do this. This will be a bad representation, but let's just try doing player dot score equals or plus equals 1 each frame, and we'll see what that does. In Lua, this is how you concatenate a string. So like, also I just want to say, if I had some string like like if I was going to do print and I wanted to concatenate a string, you could do like hello space and then in Lua do that and then world, and that would combine that together into one string. Anyway, let's go back to the game. Oh my goodness, yes, the player score does work. Goes up quite quickly when you do it that way. So let's go ahead and get rid of that, and then we'll go ahead and add some collision to actually update the scores. So I'm going to go down to the calc physics for the Pong cube here, and we're going to go ahead and one thing I want to do before I forget is let's go ahead and move the check collision function into the library and out of this main game script. Since we've made it to where it can just take 2 parameters, it can be in our library. So we'll put that in our lib.lua. And then we'll come back to our game here. And let me see here. We need to go ahead and fix it to where if it's touching the Y screen here like this or like this, instead of just changing the Pong direction, it actually gives a score to the player. So if it's less than 0, this would be where the AI is scored. So let's go ahead and comment this out, or maybe not even comment that out. Ooh, did not mean to adjust the screen size. Sorry about that. So what we need to do here is AI dot score plus equals 1. And if it's here, we'll say player dot score. Let me go ahead and save that, and then we will see how that does. So if it hits the AI side, it should increase his score. Right now, it won't reset the Pong like maybe it should, but let's just see if it gives him a point. Yep, it did increase his, so that's good. Let's see if it does that on mine as well. Yep, that looks pretty good. 1 to 1. Now it's 2. And this text is not monospaced, so I guess it draws it a little weird. Maybe that's that center of text align that's making it jump back and forth. Like it looks like if I do this, like let me put my mouse right on that thing and see where it goes. Oh crap, it might not go now. But I want to see if that middle bar moves. If that middle bar moves, I'm probably going to not use the text align center, and I'll just align it manually, because it looks like it was moving there. Let's go ahead and see. So it gave him 3. I need to actually get a point, I guess, for it to see it change. Let's see if it'll give me a point here. Yeah, it did. See, that middle bar moved. Okay. So in that case, let's go back and fix that text draw. I'm just going to say draw text without the aligned part because it seems too cumbersome and complicated to do that. So let's just save that and let me go ahead and run that again and see. Okay, moved it over a little bit. Let's do 190 like we were doing. And let's save that, and then let's go. So there it is. Oops. It should hopefully work now. Let's see. We also need to fix his movement to not go through the bottom. Yeah, it looks like that did not move the line. Let's see if when he scores, if it moves anything. Or when he gets scored on, I should say. What? Oh, it totally moved the line because that first number is not there. Huh. Well, that is unfortunate. Let me move this out of the way. So, I see. It's moving the line still. Well, we might have to edit the text in the Playdate text editor later. That is one way that I guess we could fix it. So that's an option if we want to go back and do that. But I might just leave it for now because I don't think it looks that bad. But I will just keep it as this for now. Anyway, let's keep moving and let's go ahead and make the Pong ball reset if someone misses hitting it. So we said we already have got the score resetting here. Or excuse me, the direction of the Pong ball resetting here to the other side, but we need to reset its position as well to 0, 0, like when it starts. I believe it starts at, where does it start at? There we go. The center, I guess, actually. So let me go ahead and do that. For now, I'm not going to make a function for it. I'm just going to very simply reset its position like this, being served towards the other player. And then, yes. So, that looks good. I'm also going to reset, maybe I should make a reset Pong. I guess I'll do that real quick. So let's go ahead and do this. Function reset Pong. And we'll just move everything into there since it needs to be called multiple times. And then I guess the problem is the xdir needs to be able to be parameterized. Nah, I'm not going to do that. I'll just change it after we reset it in the actual function. So let me do this. We'll just go like this. I'm going to just, ooh, is that right? Yeah. We'll say this is what we'll do whenever it hits a wall. It'll increase the player's score first, then it'll reset the Pong, and then reset the correct serving direction. So let's do that on the bottom one too. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those. And then let's increase the AI score and then reset the Pong and the bottom one. So let's go ahead and do that and see how it looks when it hits one of the sides now. There we go. It's still going down though. Let's see here what happens. It's like it served it, but it was going down instead of straight. Which, I mean, that's okay, but maybe not ideal. I'd like it to go straight when we serve it. So we'll probably have to do something to fix that. So let's go ahead and fix that. So the problem is we check the wall here, and then down here, we check if the direction needs to be updated, I suppose. So it's because we check if we hit it, and then we update the direction that it's moving. I think that gives it a little bit of a problem. So, for example, I think what we need to do is we can do two things. We can either reset the direction, like move this below all of these so it'll serve properly, because basically all of these are updating the direction right after we update it when it hits the wall. So that might be the easiest thing for now, is to do that so it serves it below everything else. Just move it in the logic. Let me see here. Let's just make a comment here and let's see if that fixes it. Oh, interesting sound effect there. I don't know if you guys could hear that. So let's see. I'm going to let it hit the wall and we'll see how it serves it. If it's in a straight line, it is. So that's good. It hits it. Let me see if it serves it the other way in a straight wall, if I can make the AI get hit by it or fail or whatever. Yes, let's see here. Oh my gosh, what the crap? That's very odd. Let's see if it does that again. I wonder if it's because the AI is moving back and forth like that. That's so weird. Very odd. So that's an issue. I guess we're going to need to fix that. Let's see here. The first thing I want to do is fix the AI's behavior where it moves towards the bottom of the screen and it, when it stopped, when it touched the bottom of the screen. So let's go ahead and try that. Let me see if I can fix that real quick. So this one I'm going to say if it's less than that and AI position is less than 240 minus the AI's height. That should do what we need there. So if the AI's Y is less than 240 minus the AI's height, then we'll, still move. If it's less than that, not if it's equal to or greater than that position. So then it'll let it move, and then it should stop it if I am understanding correctly. That does make it move back up, so that should probably be... Let's just try that and see what it does. I'm curious to see. It might make it fidget weird still. Let's just see. Let's check. Oh my, it did make it bounce off the bottom there. That's quite odd. Okay, let's fix that real quick. That needs to be else if AI's height is greater than Y. That's all we need to say is do that. Let's see what it does. That should fix it. Yeah, now it just stays. So that's nice and smooth. That's a lot better. Good deal. Let me go ahead and send it that way. And we will see how it goes. Okay, there, he missed it. Oh, look. Oh, no. What on earth? Oh, my goodness gracious. So he actually is starting smooth now, but he does something much weirder. He still has that problem. Let me see here. Oh, does he have that problem at the beginning? If it first starts? No, he's smooth when it starts too. That's good that that fixed when he was smooth. But why doesn't it bounce and immediately come off of him like that? Like if I let it do this and it goes to him. Actually, why is it... I don't know. Did it just go to him and not do the glitch? Why does it do the glitch sometimes and not another time? That's so odd. Let's check what happens when this goes. Wait, is it also going to him every time? That's what I just noticed. Maybe that's the problem. It's going to him every time. Let me come back down to this. So it's going towards the AI every time, even though I'm saying that when it is going on his side, that it should be a negative x direction, which means it should be going towards us. And that one should be going towards us too. Oh, it's because we need to reset the force direction. That's what really matters, not the x direction. Since we put these down below all of these, it, actually messed it up a little bit. So I'm going to say these ones are 0 degrees and maybe I would say 180. So basically what I think I'm going to do is get rid of the x direction part and instead put the force direction. And this will probably, hopefully, fix the issue. Let's go ahead and see if we reset the Pong. So when it hits the right side of the screen, its force direction should be going the other way, which is towards the player. That'd be 180 degrees, which on our unit circle should just be math.pi. So let's do that. And then for this one, it can just stay 0 because that's the default. And I might just do this to make it apparent. I might actually make it 0 manually just so it's apparent where it's going. Let me go ahead and delete those. Well, actually, you know what? Let's just see what that does. We might need those still, but let's check and see what happens. Is it going to restart? There it goes. Okay. Boop, he hits it. And then let me miss it. And hopefully if I miss it, it'll start coming towards me. That's the idea. I guess it didn't work, but he did hit it. Let me see what happens if I go over and hit it too. I'm going to try to make him miss it and see which directions it goes. Oh, so if he hits it, I think it's reverse of what it should be. Oh, and now that's happening on my end. Okay. I think that these need to happen. And I guess these need to be flipped maybe. So let's put math.pi. Oops. Let's put this one down here. Is it not? Okay, there it goes. And let's put this one here and see how that goes. I'm going to save it. And I'm going to run it. And we will see how it goes now. Okay, so it hit off of him nice and smooth. That's good. His movement is nice and smooth. Let me see if... Okay, hit off of me fine. Let's see what happens when it serves it. He missed it. Okay, it's serving to him. And... oh, no. Okay. Let me just try taking these out and seeing what happens. Because basically, we reset the direction. When it hits... Okay, I'm a visual thinker. I got to put this over here. Let me see. Hopefully you can still see everything if I do this. Let me minimize the console. So, on this one, if the Pong's x is greater than the screen max, so over here, then it's going to say that it's going to reset the Pong, put it in the middle screen, zero out everything, and set its force direction to be 0, which would be going to the right. So if it hits over here, it goes towards him. It seems like that works. The force direction, I think, is what's screwing something up, if I'm understanding correctly. Let's see about this one. So if it goes to the left of the screen, it will reset it and make it go towards the player. That's good. The x direction is going to be negative at that point, and it's going to be positive going here. So I'm going to go ahead and flip these two as well and see if that does not help. So let me go ahead and put this one down here and uncomment it, and put this one up here and uncomment it, and save that, and then we will see how that goes. So let me put this back over here. It's going to restart. We'll see what it does for him. Bounces off of that player. That's fine. Let's see what it does over here. If I let it go down. So it serves towards me. That's good. Let's see if it bounces off. Okay. It bounces off of me. Fine. Let's see if it bounces off of him. Okay. Oh my goodness. It hit the side of him. So that's a little glitchy. But let's let it restart and see what happens. We weren't testing for if it hits the side of him. We were testing for if it hits him. Or if it hits the wall. So I'm going to bounce it back towards him and see what happens when it serves. Let's go see. Just our luck, he might actually bounce it back. He is going to. Okay. Hopefully he'll miss it this time so it can actually reset. Okay, it's going towards him. Let's see if it bounces off of him. It does. Awesome. So I think that direction was the problem. So basically it looks like the whole game is working now, except we don't really have a lose factor. And if you hit the top of the Pong ball just right like that on both the player or the AI, it does a very spazzy motion there and won't actually do what it's supposed to. So it's almost like we need to make sure that it gets out of the player, or that if it hits the side of them, it only does that, once. That's very interesting. Yeah, see there, it did it again on the AI. So first, let me just stage all of our changes so far, because it seems to be working for the most part, the game does. I'm going to come back and let's see how we could fix that. Let me go back to our collision area here. So basically, like I said, this is happening each frame, I believe. Yeah, each frame is calculating our Pong's physics, which it is doing to, it's going to add the force, and then it's going to do is touching. If it's, touching the AI or the player at all, it's going to go and trigger the big if statement, which is the did hit, and it'll go in here and it'll say, okay, it'll change the Y position, or if it's touching the player, it'll just flip the X position. So maybe that's what I did wrong. Instead of doing that, so it goes back and forth, we need to break this into two different if statements. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Oops. Let's break this into two different if statements. Let's say if it is touching the player, let's just go ahead and make it a definite. It'll be moving. If it hit the left-hand side, it's going to be moving to the right. So it'll be moving in the positive direction. And let's go ahead and say that if it's touching the AI, it'll be moving in the negative direction. Let's see if that goes ahead and hopefully fixes the issue we were just having. So I'm going to try to hit with just the top of my paddle here so we can emulate what happens when it does what it does. Looks like that was pretty smooth. We'll see if it happens on the AI. It seemed to happen on the AI a lot. Let's see if he does it. Oh, he failed. Yeah, it did it a little bit differently. It's like it hit here, and it took a second for it to switch, but it was a lot better than what it was doing. It actually functions how it should, even if it visually is kind of a glitch. So let's look at that again. But I think I'm okay with living with it like that. Yeah, visually it's a little glitchy, but game mechanic-wise, it functions how it should, which is what I really care about. So let's go ahead and keep playing here. Man, this AI is not having any luck today. Maybe we need to make the AI a tad bit faster. He's like 4.0 right now. That's not very good. Let's give him a chance to redeem himself. Holy cow, 5.0. Man, maybe it's not so good for the AI to not be, maybe he needs to be a tiny bit faster. Man, he's not doing so hot at all. And it seems to be very repetitive so far. If he misses again, yeah, okay. We're going to have to adjust the AI real quick because that is just too slow for the flow of the game now. So let's go ahead and make him, I wonder if we can just make him very slightly faster like that, if that would be enough. Let's see what that looks like. So now he's very slightly faster. Oh my, it was just doing some interesting things there. Looked like he was glitching out a little again. Nope, he missed it. He is glitching out a little bit. Huh. Let's make him just be 3 and see if that just makes him too OP. Let's see. Okay, so he got it with 3. He hit it once. Let's see if we can get a score on him, just to make sure it's still fair for the human players. Yeah, okay, good. We did get a score on him, and he's mad about it. So, let's see. It seems to be that I'd like to fix that visual glitch of him, moving up and down really fast. Let's see if we can get it just to work. Okay, so he got it. Let's see here. He got it again. Didn't get it that time. Okay, I think I'm going to leave him there. That's good. Let's just fix his glitch with the serve where he shakes a lot. Let's go back to the AI's update logic here, and let's just see. I think it's doing that because it's never getting exactly, within the Y's hit direction. So right now it's, going up the difficulty, minus the difficulty, but it's never right spot on to where he thinks he should be. So to fix that, we can either do some rounding to round, AI's rounded location is less than that. Then do that AI's rounded location is greater than that. Then do that. That might be the best thing to do, I believe. Let me just bring up the Lua math.round documentation so I can remember how that function works, because I forget if it is if they even have it. They might not have Lua math. Maybe it's math.floor. Let me look. I'm looking on Google on my other screen here. It might be like it might not have like a it might not have like an exact actual round. It might just be a floor round or a other one. Yeah, round to the nearest whole integer is math.floor. We'll try using that and see how that does. So math.floor on the AI's Y position there. We'll say that. And then we'll keep it as just a regular AI position there, so it doesn't do anything weird with the floor. And then let's try that. And let's just see what that looks like if we do that. Maybe it'll stop twitching so badly. Oh my, still twitching? That's weird. Let me go ahead and floor the Pong position too. I'd like to get him to fail real quick so we can see what it looks like again. Let me go ahead and do this. I'm going to also floor the Pong ball's position so that he'll hopefully stop doing that. So let me do this. That way they're both just integers and there's no wiggle room. Hopefully that will fix it. Let's see what that does. Oops. Oh, that's weird. Wait, did it load? Let me try that again. He's still wiggling a lot, huh? Was there an error or something? Or no, it looks like it built okay. So let's see here. Well, it looks like it's not wanting to actually do what I'm wanting it to, probably because maybe the difficulty, it's adding only plus or minus 1 every time. Well, if we look down here, it's not exactly a rounded number here, so I guess that's giving it some trouble because it'll never be an even number, so it's never getting exactly an even number when it's here. So that means that he, just bounces up and down and up and down. So what we could do is round another way. Perhaps, like we could say if it's less than that and it's not so much greater than that, do this. Or if it's less than this and it's not so much greater than it, do this. Like, this might be a little weird. But let me try taking these math.floors off. And let me see if this will stop our wiggle. Well, maybe we still need 1. Let me try something. This might be a little janky, but let's try this. Math.floor that plus our difficulty. If it's less than that, do that. And then let me do down here. It would be minus. If it's greater than that, minus our difficulty. Maybe I'm thinking wrong about that. That might completely screw up everything, but let's just see. Oh my goodness, he's still even wiggling. Maybe I was just mistaken. But out of curiosity, I want to flip them. Maybe I'm just completely out of turn thinking this would work. But let's see here. I feel like this is going to screw everything up. I swear, if it just works now, that'll be interesting. Okay. So we're rounding basically to the whole number, and then we're adding in, the amount of the steps that he can actually move. That way that it'll always end in a step that he can actually move to. That way it'll actually be rounded and he won't go back up and down, up and down. That's basically what we're doing there. I hope that made sense, but that's kind of exactly what we're trying. Let me see here if it works. I mean, it looks good. Let me go ahead and let's try to make him fail so that we can see if it actually works when he serves too. Okay, yeah. Let's see here. Oh, yes, it actually works. Okay, cool. So I think that we're actually have a legit game of Pong now then. Seems like everything is actually playable and there aren't even too many major glitches from what I can see. We got the score, we got the ball, we got the 2 players, the player and the AI. So I think that that's actually working pretty nicely. And I might go ahead and call it at the end of the stream now, since we have this working so nicely. That might just do it for our simple little Pong game here in the first tutorial of the stream of this game jam style game, which is what we were going for. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. And if anybody actually made it to the end of this, kudos to you. I know that it was long. I'll probably make a